Let's start paying for them.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? So,
Goodness.
hooray! Excuse me. I had to clear my
I was
throat.
gonna say, big frog in your throat.
Yep. I'm consuming frogs right and left. It is cold and flu season, so make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids and blowing your nose away from friends and neighbors. Because sharing is caring, but not when it comes to colds, because that's not good. But no, this is just allergies. It is the time of the year where all the leaves outside are starting to turn brown and fall off the trees. I was just watching them fall off the tree a minute ago, going, "Oh, look it's all like showing its bare branches and stuff." But anyway, um, yeah, yesterday, I was able to watch some really great college football and go to an event for my work. And my wife was kind enough to join me, even though she really didn't want to, but it was kind of a trade-off because I had to go to her work thing. And that's fun, right?
Oh yeah.
You get to like engage in each other's work life and kind of mix home life with it so that everyone knows that you're a fully established human being and not a psychopath who sits in their house with the lights off going, I'm going to go to work tomorrow.
Well, your work event was it was different than mine.
It was different. Yes. Well, it was different in a lot of ways, mainly because we're a food company. We had food and we also had
We're not a food
drinks.
company, and we had dinner.
Yeah, but mine was better
Yeah, I mean,
because it
it
was
was.
our food. But yeah, so um, my company decided to put on a thing for the drivers, and I am technically a driver trainer, but I'm a driver also. So I was invited to go, and we had a good time. We got to meet lots of folks and take photos with our spouses, with a professional, and yeah, had a good time of fellowship and all that funness,
Yes.
and watch South Carolina beat Oklahoma, and just one of the many things that happened yesterday. It was a busy day, a lot going on.
Yeah, we listened to that game on the way to the beach, right?
Yeah,
Did it start before we left?
it
Yeah,
did.
it did. Yeah, because we found it on we have Sirius XM, is that what
Yep,
it's called?
yep.
And we actually found it on the SEC channel,
Yeah,
SEC
I
station.
was watching it, and then when you came out of the bathroom, you're like, "All right, let's go." I was like, You're like, we can find it on the radio. And we did find it on the radio. It
Yeah.
was kind of cool to listen to.
And we made it to the beach before it was over. So
And apparently, while we were listening to it, you were also telling me details of our trip coming up that I kind of listened to.
yeah, kind of.
Kind of. There's a lot going on. You're supposed to pay attention to the road, first of all. But then there's an interception, and you're like, "Oh, how'd that happen?" But you're like trying to pay attention to the road, and then you're also hearing some stuff about Disney, about our trip coming up, and what do you think about that? I'm like, that sounds like a great idea. I don't know what I'd agree to.
Oh, yeah, it's
I'm just,
okay.
I'm just,
It's okay. You don't plan them anyway,
I'm
so
just
it's
in
all.
it to win it, baby.
Yep.
You tell me where to stand, where to
Yep.
smile. Hey, I'll do that.
Yep. It's
So
all good.
yeah, so doing our parts.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It was a beautiful weekend. The weather was gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah. I wish we had more time. I wish we had more weekend to our weekend.
yeah, don't we all?
I kind of want to enjoy the weekend a little more than we did.
Well, we stay so busy on the weekends anymore.
Yeah,
It's yeah. We left yesterday. What around? We were at the beach before 3 o'clock yesterday.
yeah,
We were at the beach more like what 2:15 or so,
something like
and we
that.
were able to check in. We weren't supposed to be able to check in till 4, but
Yeah,
we were able to check
they
in.
had a room ready, so I was like, hey, let's go
Yeah,
and get checked in. Yeah,
nice hotel.
drop our stuff off. Yeah, I never stayed at the Sheridan Convention Center before. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd stayed there years ago with work with a when I was with a freight company that was actually closing up a show there.
The only thing I thought was weird was when I went to take a shower, I turned the shower on, and the water pressure was the most forceful water pressure I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, I thought it was like a fire hose kind of capacity, and it was coming out so hard that it was also still coming out from not just the shower head, but from the nozzle itself. I was like, "No, a lot of water pressure. Holy cow. They must pay extra for that kind of water pressure."
But
So,
that's a really big hotel.
yeah,
It
oh yeah.
has multiple like banquet meeting rooms.
Yep.
We
We were one of the many events they had going on.
yeah, I think they had several events going on.
We saw the RV event that was off to the side.
Yeah, but now that hotel is also connected to the convention center,
Hmm.
which is massive.
Well, it's their convention center.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then there's another piece of property or another building on the back side of that because I've been to a vendor show
The
there
expo.
before. Yeah, I've been to a vendor show there before. I want to say maybe Christmas
Yeah.
or I don't remember. We were at the beach one year with the Shaws and Cheryl, and for some reason
Yeah.
we were looking for something to do, and we wound up going in there.
Yeah, because they had something at the expo that we bought. Like I don't remember what was back there, but I remember going in there and buying
And I don't
something.
even remember what time of the year it was
It was cold.
actually.
I do remember that.
Yeah, because we were looking for something indoors.
Yep. And we rode with I rode with Kelvin. You were already
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's right.
Kelvin drove us.
Oh, that's the year that we went to the beach and y'all went to the tech the the kids, the high school kids that
Oh
were doing
yeah.
the kind
They
of
had
like
the robotics
there you go,
competition.
robotics competition.
Yeah, so years ago we went to this robotics competition and a bunch of high schools had gotten together and they were competing and they had almost like a basketball game set up, but they got points for being able to shoot the bat. They had the little robots had to like grab the ball and then project it towards the thing to score a goal. And the further you were back, the more points you got, kind of like basketball, but also they could block each other. So it was a lot of like brutality with these
Yeah.
robots.
I want to say that was the year. I think you guys went to that and then the ladies
Hmm.
went and we were looking for something indoors and we went to that vendor show and y'all met us there. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember that convention center being that big. That little building on the back is a little bit smaller than your typical convention center type
Yeah.
building. But anyway, it's a really nice hotel. Had we had cocktails. They had like a cocktail hour with
Hmm.
hors d'oeuvres and open bar. There was a lot of people. They were taking pictures of
Oh yeah.
the employees and their spouses. And of course, when we first checked in, we got when you checked in, you came walking back with this massive box. And it was a goodie box and it's got your company logo on the top of it. Inside was some really, really nice swag. I
Yeah.
mean, that you could tell they had spent a good bit of money. They gave what Brewmate, which is a brand name insulated cooler
Two of them.
that's not cheap.
Yep.
They're very nice. A really nice fleece type blanket with your logo on it. They gave canvas bag, and I'm not talking a cheap canvas bag. That canvas bag is extremely nice
Yeah.
with the logo on it. So I mean, just the there's no telling how much money your company spent just on this event. And from what I understand, I mean, there's other divisions or other, not divisions, but there's other,
Opcos.
not opcos. I'm thinking like your warehouse people. This had nothing to
Oh,
do with your warehouse.
departments.
Yeah, departments. There you
Yeah.
go.
So the warehouse does something similar, and so does our sales force. They all do something to kind of,
Now, which
gear
department would
towards.
you say has the most employees? Is there more drivers than there is warehouse people? When you consider the fact that the guys that were there last night, like your supervisors over the different drop yards and things, I mean, would you say there's more warehouse people than there are drivers?
Maybe it's close. I know we have close to 200 drivers, and I'm not sure how many warehouse. I know the sales force is up to like 140, but we employ like close to 800 people.
Just with the Florence
So
Opco,
yeah,
right?
a good portion of that is office people, and then there's
Yeah. Oh,
also
yeah.
the marketing team and credit coordinators, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Most.
there's a lot that goes on into our business, and yeah, just here in Florence, I mean, it's probably real close to comparative people when it comes to sales, drivers. Drivers a little bit more than sales, and then warehouse is probably a little bit more than that, just because there's so much that needs to be done behind the scenes that gets those trucks loaded. But yeah,
But also too, trucks that have to be offloaded.
yeah,
I mean, you have to get the product in there first before the warehouse can pick it.
yep.
So
Kind of like when you go to the Food Lion or any grocery store and you go to buy something and you're like, hey, they're out of my favorite yogurt. Where's the yogurt? Well, it's coming from somewhere
yeah.
because they have to replenish the stock for you to buy it.
So now, how many employees does your location or does the Florence location have?
It's close to 800 total.
Okay,
Um,
which has grown. I mean, when you started
yeah, when I
there,
started, there might have been 200 total.
yeah.
Yeah,
And when you started there in 07, because I think you're celebrating
17
17 years
years.
this
Yep.
month, right?
Yep.
You had we did find out last night because I asked the question. I remember when they used to be in the old building.
Hmm.
They had not even been at the new building
They'd been there for about a year.
about a year
Yep.
whenever you maybe a year and a month, because we actually talked to somebody last night that had been there
Hmm.
20 some odd years, and and she remembered when they moved to the new building where you're at
Oh
now.
yeah.
Plus they've built on to that building since you've been there.
Yeah, we did a $12 million expansion a
Right.
couple of years ago to basically double the size of our dry department and our concrete footprint outside so that we had room for our trailers and tractors and stuff.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's
there's no doubt about the fact that they've been always been good to you guys. I mean, as long
mhm,
as you've been working there, I've always known your company to do a
something.
Christmas. Yeah, they've always done a Christmas party of some type.
We've tried to do something in the summer.
Always tried to do something in the summer.
Um,
I mean, we've done like Wild Water and Wheels
yep,
back in the day when they used to rent. I don't know if they rented out the whole
they did.
park, or I just know that we would go with the kids and spend the whole day, and they would feed us and everything.
Yeah, they used to rent it out the for like the whole day.
Yeah, I don't think it's open anymore.
No, I don't think
I
it's in
think
business. I
it's
think COVID kind of took its
yeah,
toll on that business.
but like they've always done. I mean, we've had
Hmm.
Christmas parties. I'm trying to think. We've
Yeah,
done
there's a
the
Christmas
bowling
party.
alley.
There's actually a Christmas party scheduled this year that we're not going to be able to make it
Right,
because
because
we
we're
have
on
other
vacation.
plans.
Yeah, I think we're on vacation
They
that week.
rented out Dave and Buster's for the whole day, and basically you and your four guests, it could be your kids, your family, whatever. If you have more than four, they offer tickets at a discounted rate. But then they also got partnerships with hotels where you can get
Oh, okay.
like a really reasonable one of the hotels right there near it for like $70, which is way cheaper than you could get it by
Yeah, because
yourself.
for years they did it here. Of course, I guess now you guys have got drivers kind of scattered all over
Yeah,
with the drop yards. You've
yeah.
got them in Charleston, you've got them in the beach. Now
Well,
everybody don't necessarily drive.
and because of the size of the company, like here in Florence, we used to rent out a bowling alley and
Yes,
just have everybody
but it was
come and
way too many
too
people for
many
that.
people.
Yeah, you couldn't
Yeah.
bowl. I
We've
mean,
got twice as many people
yes,
now as we used to
yeah.
whenever we did the bowling alley.
And I could see them. I could see now why they've changed. Plus,
Yeah.
before years ago, back whenever you first started, everything came out of Florence. All the
Hmm.
trucks did. Now with the drop yards that they've incorporated over the years, everybody is a little more scattered.
Yeah. We have 8 drop yards and they're, they're basically out of Florence, but they're shuttled at night and
Yeah.
that way the people can deliver in their locations
But
with
I
less
see, but
drive
that would be
time.
a great, I mean, offering the Dave
Sure.
and Buster's thing at the beach, even if you lived in Augusta and you worked off that drop yard,
Oh yeah.
it would be and the fact that you could take your family or you could take yourself and four other people.
And have games and food and everything included. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty
And
awesome.
then be able to get a
And
hotel at a discounted rate.
they'll do kind of like we did last night. They'll have drawings and they'll give away things. And they usually have presents for the kids and somebody dresses up as Santa and it's a big deal.
Oh yeah, for Christmas they've
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
they've always done a lot of raffles. Now last night it was mixed in a little bit more with the awards that they
Yeah.
gave out for different things. I was kind of shocked with the amount of prizes that they gave out for different awards. When you
Yeah.
won an award, you didn't just get a little plaque. It wasn't really a plaque. It's like a crystal truck, which is really pretty. I mean, that's what they are, your drivers. I mean, this was in
Hmm.
honor of the drivers. But you also got a nice gift. I mean, we saw guys walk out of there or get TVs, Yeti. There was a lot of Yeti coolers given away
Yeah.
for the different
Some people got hunting scopes. Some
yes.
people had toolboxes and saws and
We saw golf bag,
golf bags,
drivers.
drivers.
Yeah.
One guy got a Dyson hair
Yeah, and
product.
those things are expensive.
He has no hair, but he got a $500 Dyson
Yeah.
hair dryer. They try to cater the prizes towards the people that are winning it, and they usually find out ahead of time who's going to win it. So they kind of ask them a little bit about, hey, if you won an award, what do you think you'd be looking for? And I think he specifically wanted something for his wife, and it's a bit pricey. And he's like, how
Yeah,
about
well, I
this?
mean, I'm sure that's numbers y'all have to pull. I mean,
Yeah.
because a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
those awards were the driver with the most accuracy for the
Yep.
year, the
Yep.
driver that has driven the most miles accident free for the
Yep.
years, the driver.
Samsara cameras,
Yes.
scan rate, yeah, most miles, most cases. Uh,
I mean, it
the
wasn't just,
customer relations part of it I thought
yeah,
was cool,
yeah,
where customers wrote in and talked about how much they really enjoyed their driver and their customer service ability. The ones where the salesman got to vote on it, that's kind of
yeah.
cool too.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I thought I mean they did a really good job of not just limiting it to
yep,
the driver with the most years in or the driver that has driven the most miles. I mean,
yep.
whenever you work for, which I've worked for the last 25 years for companies that that drivers are involved in, and it's always been just catering to just a top few, the
Yeah.
one that's been there the longest, the one that's driven the most miles, pretty
Yep.
accident free. That's pretty much the only two awards most companies give away.
Yeah.
But your company did a great job of trying
Well,
to encompass a lot of different categories.
and we want to do a category for like the Florence area versus the North sector and
Right.
our South sector because I mean the things that they are faced up against is not necessarily comparable because of the business that they have. So you want to like acknowledge a lot of people for doing
Which,
the hard
yes, I
work.
think that's the key word. They did a really good job of
Yeah.
acknowledging a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just hotel alone. I mean, if I had to just try to think about how they probably spent at least, I would think at least 100. They had to spend $100,000 easy.
Probably. Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, I know they got those rooms at a discounted rate because they brought in a X number of people, and I'm sure that the way you sell that, whenever you're, I've never done that. I've never like called a hotel and was like,
Like
hey,
negotiated.
right, right,
Hey,
and
I want to book 200
I want to
rooms.
book 200 rooms.
What kind of price can you give me?
Right. And I'm sure that you bring in, the way a hotel looks at that is you're bringing in, you will give a discount for the room, but you're also bringing in a lot of extra things. There was an ice cream shop, there was a coffee shop
Yep.
in that hotel that I know for a fact I saw people with items from there. So that that's money that the hotel was making. Now, we did go down to the bar area before the cocktail hour and we had a drink, and I mean there was a lot of your company guys
Yep.
higher up that was there, and they were offering, hey, I've got that drink, and I don't, you and I drank one, I think. I was not going to sit there. I'm not the kind of person to do that anyway and take advantage of that, but I really thought that that was that was going above and beyond. That was
Yeah.
extra money that they were spending on top of what they had already spent.
Well, sure. And it's one of those. It fits home with me because it was instilled in me in the Marine Corps of work hard, play hard. I mean, we want you to be willing to do all kinds of crazy stuff for us, and then when it's done, hey, let's have a moment where we work on our welfare and
Yeah.
talk to each other and
But now
appreciate each other.
one thing they did that I don't know if I've ever been to a function where they've done this before. It's very smart. They actually had open bar for the cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
We moved into the main room, which is where all the tables where we actually had dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Beautiful room, by the way.
beautiful room, big room, massive
Yeah.
room.
Banquet
They had
hall.
2 or 3 different serving lines
Mhm.
set up, so people got food very quickly.
Oh yeah.
And that was great. I mean, the food was good. The one thing they did that I thought was very smart was they closed the bar during dinner and the awards program.
Yep.
They did not open the bar back up until that was over.
Now everybody's got food in their belly. They've calmed down. They've listened.
You're
to
paying
the
attention.
Stuff. You're paying attention.
You're paying attention. You're not standing in line at the
Yep.
bar
Yep.
or trying to see just how much you can drink. I mean,
Well, and I'm sure that after that was over, there was a few that were like, "All right, let's have a little bit more." But also, once you have food in your belly, you're less likely to drink
right,
more
exactly.
because you're like, "I'm full." Man.
Yeah, because whenever we left, I mean, and whenever there was not very many people in line for the bar, not like I thought there would be.
Yeah.
And I think they even had a DJ and music and everything, but I don't even know how long that was supposed to go on, but I don't think there might have been a few that made it till the very end, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because that room cleared out pretty quickly, even with an open bar.
Well, and there was a lot of us like you and I that were like, "I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
It's been a full day."
And like you said, though, that is one way to hold down on the alcohol tab.
Yeah.
Is to stop the bar while people are having their dinner.
Yep.
And make people pay attention to their dinner and who they're sitting at the table with.
But also there is a hopeful idea of if you do it here in the hotel, nobody's going to drive anywhere.
Oh yeah, most
Because
definitely.
you don't want people behind the wheel
Yeah.
while they're intoxicated,
Yeah.
and if they're there, okay, well, you're not going to go far. You're just going to go upstairs and go to sleep. Great. All right. And then we also have free breakfast tomorrow. So get up, go have some breakfast, that way you're good to go to drive home and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah. And I thought that was great too. I mean,
Sure.
the room was great. I mean, that's a beautiful hotel. And then they even fed us this morning before we left. So
I made a comment that last year we did this without spouses.
Mm-hmm.
It was just employees, and it was fun. It was fun. They took us to Top Golf and bust us over there, bust us back, and it was fun. But there was an element missing without our spouses there because there was a lot of awards given out, and I thought it would be very. A lot of us talked about it afterwards and thought it'd be really good if our families could have seen how excited everybody was that people had won the things that they had won. But also from another standpoint, it's useful for management to do that because then our spouses are our biggest influence. So if you happen to be at a table where somebody is winning things and that little bug in your ear goes, well, why aren't you winning these things? What's going on? What are you doing? Why aren't you doing this? I mean, at least it opens up the conversation and has them, I guess, a little more accountable, because maybe they can own up to the fact of, yeah, I haven't been taking care of these things like I should. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to the safety
Well,
score. Maybe I haven't been paying attention to my scan rate. Maybe
but also
I could be
too,
a little bit more, customer friendly, stuff like that. I mean, maybe it's a good thing overall just to help everybody kind of improve themselves a little bit just by having their spouses involved.
yeah, I mean, I get that. Also too, if you're renting a hotel, if you're paying for a hotel room for one person, is there really, I mean, do you really get a discount if there's only one person in the room versus
No,
two?
no.
No. I mean, because I would think, and God, I only
I
hope,
mean, food wise,
food
it's
wise
it's
would be the
not
only thing. I mean, you
it's
would need
not
a
that much
little,
more.
it's not that much more, and you're a
Alcohol's
food,
not that much
you're
more.
a food company for crying out
Sure,
loud. I'm sure I
sure.
would almost bet my paycheck that part of that negotiation was, hey, this is the food we want, this is the menu we want, and the food will be brought in. We'll pay you to cook it, serve it, that kind of stuff, prepare it. But why pay the markup
Yeah,
on food?
yeah.
And I mean, and they had an amazing meal last
Oh yeah,
night. They did a really good job with the food. So I'm sure the food was from your company.
yeah.
And that only makes sense. But I mean, you need a little bit bigger banquet room, yes, because you've got more people. But there was a
Hmm.
lot of people there that didn't have their spouses. But then there was, I mean, I didn't go last year. Number one, I don't think it was even an issue with us or a question because I was out of
No.
town.
Well, last year the banquet room was about a third of the size that we
Yes,
did,
but
and they didn't feed us like a meal. They kind of just had finger foods, and that was
um,
it.
but see, I could have even went to the beach with you last year and spent the night and done
Yeah.
something different while you were at Top Golf, for
Oh
instance.
yeah. Well, especially once I saw that room, I was like, "Good Lord, it's a big room."
But the room is going to be the same price regardless
Yeah.
because whenever you vacate or when you check out, they have to clean that room the exact same whether there's one person in it or two people in it. That doesn't change anything, right?
Well,
No, you would hope that they would take all the towels.
yeah, but like I didn't. Last year, I didn't. There was two bedrooms. I didn't use the other bedroom or the bathroom. So
Yes, but gosh, I would hope that they don't automatically assume that you didn't use it
one
because,
person in the room.
yeah, but still, the
I
room should
used
be
one
cleaned a
bed.
certain way regardless.
Okay,
I would
whatever.
hope so. I'm going with the I believe in my brain that they clean a room the same way, whether there's one people in it or
Not the fact
10.
that they just make the bed and tighten it down and go, that'll be good.
Yeah. Or they don't make one in because somebody, oh, it don't look like anybody's even slept in this one. You don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know that a towel hasn't been folded back up pretty. I mean, there are some OCD people out there that will fold a towel the same way, put it back in the rack. Now, I don't know if I use a towel, it's going on the floor or in the tub so that they know that it is dirty.
Right.
But God, I would hope that they would take them all off the rack regardless. I'm going with that anyway.
That's a hopeful idea. I like that.
I'm going with that one.
I like that. Yeah. No. I'm I'm erring on the side of humanity where they go, this one looks like it's been used. Let's put it here. Like,
No,
oh, this one looks like it hasn't been touched. We'll just work around that.
no, I hope not. God, I hope not.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
anyway, switching gears, I had a work din- this was our week of
Work dinners.
work related extracurricular activities
Yeah.
because I had a work dinner on Thursday and
Your work thing was cool, for a lot of reasons, mainly having to deal with the issue of safety and how much they talked about safety, which is good because I work in safety. But it was not as fun.
no, it was not.
It was
I will have to admit it was not.
it was kind of boring.
Yes.
you know, again,
Now we all
we
complained last year. Last year was the first year that we did that.
well,
Eh,
you're also in a business of manufacturing, so the even the mentality of the people that are in charge is a little bit different because it's it is about safety and it's about productivity and that sort of thing. Whereas in my thing, it's we try to focus on the fact that all of our stuff is customer based. So there's people that in their brain, even though they don't say it, are trying to constantly cater to a customer. So whether you're driving a truck or you're answering the phones, it's always customer first. What do you need? I'll take care of that. It's just a different mentality, I
It
think.
is because we don't actually deliver to our customer.
Right.
We don't own our own fleet.
Right.
We hire that out. So, I mean, I mean, we still have to deal with the customer. And honestly, I like the fact that the company does put so much focus on safety, but I don't like the fact that there was nothing said about, you know, I mean, I don't know. They don't give out any type of awards.
Right.
I mean, and now mind you, I work for a division of Nucor, and there's only 58 of us total, and that's with 2 shifts for maintenance, 2 shifts for shipping. We
Yeah.
only run production Monday through Thursday during the day.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot smaller division.
Well,
But
in my room, everybody in that room talks to customers every day.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, whether it's the person answering the phone, the person in credit, the person in marketing, a supervisor, a driver, the mechanic, we're all talking to customers every day, everybody. So you got to be well versed in that. And with that comes a certain amount of flair and charismatic
yeah, and
attitude.
we do very little we do very little verbal communication with
Yeah.
our customers. We do orders that come in through emails,
Yeah.
Or through EDI, which is
Now, that's
electronic.
not to say that the people that you work with aren't super. I like all of
Oh
them.
yeah, they're great.
I mean, it's just listening to the people in charge do their little spiel is
Yeah.
like, okay, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and
Wrap it up.
they chose to have it again this year at the same place they did last year. We were not really 100% happy with the place last year, the food. Now, I will have to say the food was
The food
better
was better this year.
this year than it was last year.
Yeah.
We did not have a very good turnout. I want to say 55 of the 58 of us that works there had signed up to participate to be there, and
There might have been 30.
there was nowhere. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a lot of empty seats.
Yeah. Well, it's also there was stuff going. You heard people say there was stuff going on with their families or things that they had to do with their kids or
Yeah.
I mean, it's that stuff kind of stuff happens. I mean, it's hard to do stuff away from work.
Well, it's more obvious when you only have 58 employees when
Yeah.
half of them are missing than whenever you have two, 200 plus. But you
Well,
got
the way
200 drivers plus all of the management.
a really good way to get them there is to give them prizes.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Hey guys, come on down.
Yeah.
We're gonna have open bar. We're gonna give away prizes. It'll be fun. You're like, okay. I mean, there's something to be said about that. And you asked me last night, what made them decide to do this? Is it the size of the company or the success of the company and I said, yeah, it's both. Plus the fact that, we're entering into a time where I mean, employees are important and the focus is turning back towards employees on if we don't keep employees happy, we're going to lose employees. So let's do what we can to make employees happy. Let them talk to their friends about how they like to work here. Let them brag about, oh man, we do all this cool stuff. And on top of just the work and the pay, we also get to do fun things together. I mean, the idea of building that community.
Was this the second year?
This is the second year we've done this. Yeah.
And
As they want to call it a driver celebration.
yeah.
And Roy announced last year, this is the first inaugural driver celebration. And they had part of it last year that was sort of like a meeting because we talked about some numbers and some focus things. And they did a poll later, and a lot of people were like, that was the boringest part of it.
Yeah.
We should have not done that part. So they decided this year, let's not do that part. Let's just have a celebration and enjoy it and reward the people who do good and let their peers cheer them on about
Yeah,
holy crap,
I mean,
I
and
can't
I'm
believe he
sure,
won that.
yeah, I can see, you've worked there for 17 years, but there's not a, y'all have a lot of turnover. There's no other easier way to say it. You have a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they are
We used
trying to figure out, you still do.
We used to have a lot of turnover. We have less now.
I work for a company where that's maybe they're meant to, they don't even think about that because they don't have any issues with job
Okay.
retention. I mean,
Well,
so I mean, every company has their own challenges.
yeah,
Nucor is not. I don't think Nucor battles with being able to retain people because it's just the opposite. You mentioned, I mean, there was a lot of guys, that you work with that either knew I worked for Nucor or it was said in conversation where I worked, and everybody will say, "Oh, that is like one of the key places. That is like
sure.
everybody wants to go to work there." And then the next sentence that says anybody that goes there stays there.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm sure people look at that as there's got to be a reason why people stay.
sure. And with us, we need a little more incentive
Right.
because the job is that tough,
Yeah, I mean the same where I
you
work. I
know.
mean, it's not easy. It's very hot. It's dangerous. That's one of the key reasons why I guess safety is our number one focus
Oh yeah,
before anything else. Is because what we do for a living, it's very, very dangerous what the guys do. And I mean, it's the same as being on the guys being on the road. I mean,
yeah. Well, and you've heard me talk about this a lot. A lot of times that doesn't have to do anything to do with our driver. It could be other people on
oh
the
yeah,
road that are
most
just
definitely.
something happens in
Your
front of
company
us.
has even more challenges than mine does.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we've Lord, we've had a lot of incidents where our driver is just doing everything he can to be safe, and then something happens around them,
Yeah.
and it's like, what? How do we even fathom that this could be have something to happen,
Now
and then you
that
see it happen?
one comment that was made last night, I guess the Roy made the comment about the your opco being one of the safest
Yep.
opcos. That that shocked me because I hear what you come home most days, and in the incidents that are recordables and things like that. I mean, I
Hmm.
hear you talk about that, and compared to where I work, where we are, we're celebrating a lot. We're celebrating a good number of days with no recordables.
700 and something.
777, I think, was
Yeah.
the day that we were actually
Yeah.
the report that they had on the screen, which had been like the week before the meeting. That's where you guys work. That's not. I don't think that's possible
No.
because you have outside forces working against you,
Sure.
where we are in a contained area. So
Yep.
I mean, we can make our work environment safer every day where your company can't. You cannot control what the other vehicles on the road are doing.
Well, and like they were talking about being one of the safest ones, I keep track of all that stuff, and most of the incidents that have happened have not been our fault. It's been because of
Is
outside
yeah,
influences. We've done a really good job. Our safety group has done a really good job of just constantly talking to these guys about what needs to be done, and don't forget this, keep an eye on that, and then also having our supervisors out there on the
yeah,
street,
right.
in their face a lot
Yeah.
and saying, hey, when you pull in here, just be careful. This is a tight spot. This is an area we could possibly get something to happen. And you got to do that. I mean, when you have that many pieces in motion, you got to have people out there physically with
Yeah.
them to
And you
help
got to
them.
make it personal. You got to make it personal for them,
Sure,
which
sure.
is one thing my company does. We
Yep,
talk daily about if I don't come home
yeah,
from my job or if I have to be off work because I've been injured at my job, what it does to the other people in your family, what it does to your immediate family, how it affects not just you if you get hurt, but it affects everybody in your family.
yeah,
And that's key too. I mean, that's one of the things I know that y'all are doing more of now is making it more personal.
yeah. One of our drivers shared a picture from his cab of his truck, and it's a little note that his kids wrote him. It sits up on his visor, and it says, "Daddy, be safe. I want you to come home today."
Yeah, and see, that's the maybe tell that would be my suggestion. If they ask you
So
guys
yeah,
what,
Quate took a picture of that and he sent it out
yeah,
to everybody. He goes, just remember, this is the thought your family has all the time.
right,
You know, they
yeah,
want you to
right,
be home, be able to come home safe all the time.
right, and that's one of the things that maybe if they ask you guys for suggestions for next year's meeting, one of the I would suggest that they make it just a little bit more, bring in some more, make it more personal.
Yeah,
Maybe ask for people to submit pictures of their family so that while the cocktail hour is going on or whatever, you
yeah,
can have a slideshow of your family, and then
oh yeah,
and it can be said that these people in these slides and these pictures are the reason we do what we do it safely every day.
I started thinking about it when we were driving back, and I was thinking, it was a cool touch to have the photo booth thing set up
Mm-hmm.
with them taking some photos of us, and they gave us a nice
Yeah.
picture frame that we could frame our us
Which grab
into.
that
And
frame and read it. Actually, did you read what's on the front of it or what it says? You put the picture there, of course, but
this is the picture frame. It says, "Say cheese." At the top it says Power Performance Awards. We want you to have something beautiful in this frame. Come to the pre-function area and take couples pictures with our photographer. Your supervisor will contact you with a printed photo at a later date. So this is smart for two reasons. Number one, you've got a memory, okay, about your thing that you went to, talking about how awards were given for being safe and being responsible and doing a good job. Number two, you've got digital reminders in supervisors' offices of who these people are and why they're important to you.
Yes.
Not just a name on a sheet. It's, I met them, I met their wife, I met their family. Oh yeah, I remember so and so's wife does this, and it ties in that whole family mentality of, hey, this is not just about numbers and moving product. This is about our people.
Yeah.
And our people is our most important asset, and so again, in the efforts of retention and in efforts of trying to get everybody to buy into the ownership of what they're doing, this is part of it.
Yep, most definitely. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. So how many minutes have we done?
I don't know. But with that being said, we've got
that's a lot.
Is it a lot already?
36.
Wow, 36
Wow.
whole minutes.
My two listeners out there are like, wrap it up.
We just had the conversation of, we know we have two listeners.
I joke all the time about my two listeners out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I enjoyed our time with both companies, even though they were a little different. I still enjoyed our time with the people more than anything. Seeing the efforts that both companies are making, knowing that while you're at work, safety is their biggest concern and that you're going to be taken care of so that you can come home.
Yeah.
And, my company definitely moving in the right direction towards that. Where in the past it's been a little more reckless. There has definitely been an effort by this company to get us home every day a little bit safer.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. And, I know I talk about stuff I heard, and this is the name of the podcast. I didn't really watch much anything to talk about. Just
I don't think I hadn't watched anything. I've just been trying to figure out vacation coming up.
Yeah.
And I've started the Christmas shop. Has anybody else out there started the Christmas shop? I have.
Yeah, not me.
Well, I take care of that.
I lean heavily on your expertise.
I try hard not to wait to the last minute. And there's been a couple of years where I've let it sneak up on me, but I've already been trying. So when you start seeing packages arrive, don't think that I've gone crazy. I'm Christmas shopping already.
I already like my Christmas gift. Thank you. Yeah. It's beep beep.
Yeah. Your Christmas present for the next 45 years.
Thank you.
But we've got vacation coming up. Still trying to research a little bit of that. We're thinking about doing a couple of different things this time.
Yeah. We'll have to update that as we get closer.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. You got anything to promote?
No.
I always like to ask. Never know.
Anything you want to promote?
Well, you're supposed to say that. You're supposed to, you got to promote? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You said that if you've got a celebrity or somebody who
don't ride elephants or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, whatever. Be kind, rewind, recycle, whatever. Thank you everybody for listening and watching on the YouTubes. I appreciate it. Again, the tubes. That's what they call it. I got confirmation this week. It is
from
called the
who? A 7-year-old?
No, it's Liz. She's in HR.
And they call it the tubes.
She calls it the tubes. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.